Okay, so I wanted to welcome everyone. We are all excited to see everyone here for a great occasion. Shawn Dunning's campaign kickoff for Richmond City Council. And there's not a better day to do it than today, which is also his birthday. So we want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Your time is precious and valuable, and please know that you are valued and appreciated. One of Shawn's fondest mentors is the great Congressman John Lewis. So I wanted to share one of Shawn's favorite quotes from him. Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe in. In my life, I've done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love, and nonviolence is the more excellent way. Now it is your turn to let freedom reign. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of the 21st century, let them say that it is your generation who laid down the heavy burdens of hate and that peace finally triumphed over violence, aggression, and war. I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide. I am Ruthie Abelson. I am Shawn's regional ambassador, and I will be your tour guide today for this exciting occasion. Now that you know who I am, can I ask you all a favor? Can I please ask that you turn to your neighbor and share a wave, a fist bump, hug, handshake, or whatever you choose. Thank you.
Too busy eating, otherwise
Many of us know Shawn lives and breathes collaborative problem solving. This means knowing thy neighbor, right? Next, I'd like to thank our wonderful volunteers. I'm just going to go through this long list of names because there's so many great people who are so generous with their time and their energy. We have Yenny, Tiffany, Diana, Tamara. At the bar crew, we have Michelle and Tom. We have Isabel, Eunice, Greg, Jim, Carla, Cheryl, and where is he? Mr. Jacob? Our event coordinator here, Jacob. This young man is truly amazing and impressive, and wow, I'm just blown away. So thank you, Jacob. Thank you, everyone. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsors and our donors for the venue insurance. We had John Z of M.A. Hayes Insurance. Mr. Don Gosney here generously donated coffee, water, wine, soft drinks, cutlery, and I just see he's going around the room taking photos as well. I don't know where he is, but T. Rockwell, who's playing the beautiful music we have. There he is. Thank you so much, T. And I saw all of you enjoying the wonderful food we had here, all donated we have El Sol, El Tucan, Mikasa Grill, also Isabel Murphy and Ellen Seskins. Thank you. We had beers donated by Rob Leitner with East Brothers Brewery and Origin Brewery as well, local big brewery. Thank you. And if any of you have been seeing these wonderful logos and graphics, either in person or online, we have some talented volunteers for that as well. We have Mr. Tom Lyons, who's back in the bar. And Christine Aguilar, also probably taking pictures out here, I'm not sure you are. And Mr. Scott Harris, so thank you so much. Check out the website, it is amazing, it's fantastic. I next want to acknowledge and show gratitude for the service of our current and past elected officials that are present here today. We have Mr. Tom Butt, who's the former mayor and city council member. Mr. Jeff Ritterman, former city council member of Richmond. And John C. is a former Richmond City Council member. I think he's had to run out for a bit, but I don't think he's come back, but we're going to thank him as well. Did I miss anyone? Okay. Shawn has and will continue working hard, but he really needs our help to get onto the city council. We need volunteers for canvassing, house parties, postcard writing, yard and window signs. You've seen there's signs out here at the table, also at the entryway. Please take them, share them with other people, get the word out. We also have a list of endorsements. If you're not, that list grew exponentially just the last couple of days, and we need to grow even more. So please consider endorsing him. We don't care if you're in District 6 or not. Your name and your dedication, your help is all very much appreciated. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we're all here to hear from Shawn. But before we do, there are some people who asked to say some words. As a leader who wants to be truly representative of his community, he 100% believes that it is your Richmond, your voice. Woo! And in true Shawn form, he also asks that any speakers do not speak poorly about other people or other groups. So we hope you can all respect that. So first, where is she? We have a woman who has known Shawn for kind of a while. We have his mother. I'd like to welcome to the stage Ms. Shawn Dunning.
Yeah, it's true. My husband and I have known Shawn longer than any of you. He arrived about 1 in the morning, 48 years ago today, after I told Rob at midnight, we need to go to the hospital now. He has many qualities that I think you need in Richmond, and some of those I think can be illustrated by one story from his youth. He was a sophomore in high school, and he decided he wanted to join the ski team. Now, he had skied some, and he did have his own skis. They were used at a swap meet, and we didn't have the means for him to ski a lot, but he did go up to the slopes occasionally, and his sophomore year, he decided he wanted to join the ski team. If they voted for such things, I think he would have been voted the least likely to succeed. He didn't have the experience of the other kids swimming or skiing in youth ski teams. He didn't have the means for the best equipment, and he didn't have the means to go to ski camp in the summer in Mount Hood like the other kids on the ski team did. But he worked hard, he was persistent and tenacious, committed to the goal of doing well on the ski team. And it was his first year on the JV team, he actually became he was named the most valuable player, the skier that year. Wow. When that ski season was over that winter, he went up for some spring skiing for fun, and he had an accident and broke his collarbone. But that didn't deter him. He went back the next year and skied in his junior and senior year, and he started consistently winning races, especially after he got some new skis. They still weren't the top-of-the-line equipment. They were what his grandmother could buy him. I think he said he wrote a grant to his grandmother to get the skis. And in his senior year, he reached the ultimate goal of being able to represent his high school at the California State Ski Championship. Wow. And he was voted in his senior year the most improved skier on the ski team. Those represent some of his qualities of persistence and tenacity, commitment to a goal, and working hard. As many of you have probably heard, one of his goals is that we have a world that works for everyone. He has been consistent in working for that through his whole adult life, all over the world, and now he's landed in Richmond by choice. He deliberately chose this community for its vibrancy and its diversity to raise his daughters in. And so I just want to conclude by saying I think he has wonderful qualities to be a city councilman, and they include persistence, tenacity, working hard, working committed to a goal of a world that works for everyone, and he loves Richmond.
Thank you so much. Next, we have former Mayor Tom Butt.
We miss you, Tom.
It's been so long since I've been on stage, I've actually forgotten how. So I'm going to make this short. I'm going to make 3 points. The first one is that I don't have to tell you how important this is. I think all of you know it. I think you understand that this is one of the most important elections that Richmond's seen in a long, long time. And there are plenty of reasons, but I think you understand them. Number 2, Shawn has done his part. He's put himself out there as a candidate. He's running early. He's got a lot of support, and that's happening. The third part is that whether he gets elected or not is up to you. You've got to get out there and help. These things don't just happen. You've got to spread the word. So if this is going to be a successful campaign, it's on you. Let's all get out there and make sure that Shawn ends up victorious in this election. So thank you.
Next, we have our former council member, Jeff Ritterman.
Bring the mic down.
Well, Tom, you're still my mayor. And I love the open door, and I'm going to walk through it. And I think we're all going to walk through it. And as I was leaving tonight, my wife said, you know, Shawn's a peacemaker, and that's what we need. We need peace in the world, and we need peace in the city, and Shawn can bring that to us. You know, a real person who brings everybody to the table and finds a way to make peace with everyone. Earlier in his life, Shawn worked with the Israelis and the Palestinians. Maybe if he had kept doing that, we wouldn't be where we are today, right? And we have my good friend Z here from the Palestine community, and I just want to make a big shout out to him and tell him I love him, and sorry for all the suffering. There's just no reason for it. So Shawn's a peacemaker, Shawn's a hard worker, Shawn's got integrity, Shawn's got intelligence. There's nobody on the council with his credentials. He's worked with John Lewis, the famous civil rights leader. He's worked with Israelis and Palestinians. He's got all of our support. We're going to go work hard to get him in there. He's the kind of person we need in Richmond, and I'm just so honored and proud to be part of this effort.
Next to the stage, we have Miss Helen Suskin. Ellen, sorry.
Yes. Thank you. I hope so. Oh, yeah. Are the stairs on this side?
However way you'd like.
We just,
Oh, it's just here. Lots of stairs. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. My body is failing, but my mind isn't. So.
That's right.
I am so excited to see this many people out here. I met Shawn quite a while ago when we were both taking the citizens. It was a thing through the, I can't remember the name of it, but it was through the police, and we were learning what they do, how they work, and it was really informative. And I remember watching Shawn through it all and feeling like, this guy knows all of this. I mean, I just had this sense of that. And the more I got to know Shawn, the more I realized he knows a lot. And I got to know him better, and especially when he ran for mayor. He did, one of the things that he does a lot is conflict resolution between parties that are literally not speaking. They would throw fists before they would throw words. And Shawn did a conflict resolution just to show us how it was done. And I think I was in tears by the time it was over. I was shocked at how it worked. I still am sometimes in tears when I think about how incredible it would be to have Shawn helping make decisions for us. And I think the biggest thing, the open door, the open table, he means it. He really means it. He's serious, and I want it. I want it back. I want to know what's going on, and I know we will if Shawn's up there. So remember to vote. Remind your friends to vote. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ms. Yanni Garcia.
Hello everyone, I'm going to repeat my message in Spanish after, okay? I met Shawn a couple years ago, and at first I didn't really know what he was about, so I was like, no. But Shawn, you have proven me wrong, and not only are you a good friend, but I know that you have the same heart as me. I lead with my heart. I don't care where you're from, what you are. When you do things good from your heart for the community, that's what I like. And so I know that with Shawn in office, we're gonna have that collaborative work, that representation. I know that we don't all agree on things, and that's okay. That's what makes us beautiful and diverse. But I do believe that with the platform that Shawn is gonna be putting forward and the work we're gonna do together, collaborative, we can get to many more places where we can speak to each other with respect, come to the same table, go through the same doors. At the end of the day, we all want the same things. I know for a fact that Shawn can get us there. I used to live in District 6. Unfortunately, the cost of living moved me out of Richmond. But I lived in the city of Richmond for more than 36 years. And I know that Shawn will get us to where we need to be better in 2024 and beyond. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Conocí a Shawn hace un poco, par de años, y al principio no me gustaba mucho porque no sabía quién era ni de qué se trataba, pero él me ha comprobado con su esfuerzo, con su trabajo. Tenemos trabajos similares. Me gusta trabajar con toda la gente, quien sea, del color que sean, de los grupos que sean, cuando las cosas se hacen del corazón para la comunidad, para mejorar nuestra comunidad entera, no solo un grupo, no solo una persona, todos merecemos algo bonito, y yo sé que con el trabajo que Shawn va a hacer con nosotros, colaborando, podemos llegar a un futuro mejor para la ciudad de Richmond, y no solo este año, sino los años por venir. Y pues yo crecí en la ciudad de Richmond, casi nací ahí en Richmond, conozco mucha gente de Richmond, vivía en el distrito 6, desafortunadamente el costo de la vivienda me mandó a otra ciudad. Pero igual sé que con el trabajo que Shawn va a hacer, nosotros podemos mejorar nuestra vida y la comunidad donde vivimos. Estoy muy emocionada de compartir este tiempo con él y de compartir a todos los demás por qué deben de votar por Shawn. Thank you, Shawn, for the collaborative work.
Thank you, Jenny. Next up,
is Jessie Turan, and I met Shawn about 2 years ago. I'm one of those scary people who's a resident of Ryden Road, the homeless encampment in the dog. So everyone be scared. I ran a food donation kiosk when I was living up Ryden Road. And, you know, I fed 200 people a week. But Shawn was the first person that, from any government person that came up and spoke with me. And not only spoke with me, but asked me what I thought was going on, what the problems were, and how they could be resolved. No one's doing that right now. No one is including homeless people in the conversation about what to do about the homeless. But Shawn does. He treats us with respect. He listens to us. And he uses logic to find reasonable solutions. That's not too much to ask. And all of you should ask that and expect that. Thank you.
Next up, we have Brendan Havenar-Daughton.
Thank you all for being here. My name is Brendan. I work for the county. I serve as the energy manager for public works. And so I work on things like solar and battery storage, electric vehicle charging. And so I'm really privileged here to be able to speak in support of Shawn. 4.5 years ago, I moved to Richmond from my native Oakland with my wife and 2 young kids. We were lucky enough to buy our first house, and we absolutely love it here, and we love our diverse community. After I moved to Richmond, I looked for opportunities to engage in civic affairs, and civic service has always been a really important part of my life, both professional and personal. And so within the first year, I had an opportunity to serve with Marin on the Parks and Rec Commission. And then when my kids started elementary school, I threw my hat in and served. Of course, nobody wanted to be the president of the PTA, so I raised my hand. And most recently, I was elected as chair of the WCC USD Citizen Bond Oversight Committee, where I served with the distinguished Don Gosney. But I'm not running for anything, so I tell you all this because I want you to get a sense of who I am and what I care about. 2 years after I moved to Richmond, I ran into Shawn on the street, quite literally. Raise your hand if you also ran into Shawn. So I was walking with a neighbor. I was on the downhill. Shawn was huffing and puffing up the El Sobrante Hills. Now, he was in good shape, so yeah, it was a steep hill. And he ran over to us and he said, of course, hey, I'm running for mayor. And you know, at first I was really intrigued. And then after about 15 minutes, I not only was I sold, but I was very inspired. And it happened to be in a time when I was right between jobs, and so I said, what can I do? I want to help out with this campaign. And that's when I met Shawn. I feel like I've known him for quite a while now. Shawn's vision for Richmond was different when I heard him on the street talk to me. And I think, you know, Shawn's approach to civic affairs is different. We've heard it from some of the speakers already. It's so different that his critics often claim that it's unrealistic or even impossible to achieve what he's promising. But Shawn's approach is simple. Lost my place. Listen to diverse perspectives, understand people's underlying needs and interests, and forge a path forward that delivers the most value for our community. Shawn's approach is collaborative, not divisive. It's human. It puts people first. Shawn has the skills and experience to bridge political gaps, turning tough conversations into productive dialogue. Shawn's leadership is actually, I believe, an antidote to partisan politics. And while Richmond may not be as divided as our country is, we sure could benefit from increased collaboration at City Hall. So thank you all for joining me in supporting Mr. Shawn Dunning for City Council.
Okay, next up we have Mr. Alex Knox.
thank you. All right, are we ready to hear from Shawn?
Yeah.
That's right. I'm Alex Knox. I'm a third-generation Richmond resident. Also, like so many of you that I know, support Shawn. Was super excited and very gratified to support Shawn in his mayor's race. And I think we owe him a round of applause for just how incredible a race he ran last year for mayor. And they brought me up here today to announce, in my expert opinion, that the results are in. If the race were held today, that Shawn would win the city council race. Hands down. So that's just today. That's just today. And of course, that doesn't mean a lot because we've got a ways to go. A lot can change. But everything is in place for Shawn to win. Everything is in place for Shawn to win. I have full confidence that he is the strongest candidate and has the best chances of winning of anybody running. And that might seem like a stretch, but he blew everyone away when he ran for mayor. He did such an incredible job that I can't imagine how things could not go its way this time around. But we really do need to step up. This is, of course, it's going to be a challenging race. And I'm one of those critics that thought things about Shawn's approach was pretty unrealistic or kind of strange. And he's still strange as a candidate, right? He's coming along, but I still don't agree with everything about like, okay, how are you doing that? But he's the best. He's the best candidate in the race. I know we're all super, super excited. I see the commitment in this room. It's really impressive. One thing I'm here to announce too is that Shawn also won the best campaign launch party in Richmond's history. Did anybody expect this? I mean, this is incredible. I've already got a t-shirt on. This is supposed to be like, you get these in October or something, right? And the name tags, everything. So, I mean, geez, what a big head start. What a big head start. I think it makes everyone's life, all of our lives, a little bit easier. The idea of stepping in, doing your part, makes so much more sense and is really a much more hopeful idea than a lot of other campaigns that you could get involved in. There's going to be a lot of important races this campaign season. But if you're thinking, how can I spend my time and get the best return on my time in a campaign season, it's going to be with Shawn. He will use every ounce of your effort to the best. He'll outwork everyone in this room 5 times over. Let's give him a break. Let's make it a little bit easier for him. Your efforts, your money, your calls, your door knocking, I promise you, it's absolutely worth it in this very fine district that I'm very pleased to be, one of Shawn's neighbors. So I don't know if we have anybody else, but I'll pass it back over. And let's do this. This is going to be easy. We just have to do our part. We just have to do our part. Let's do it.
Up to the stage, a woman who is not shy to the stage, we have Miss Karen Buchanan.
Hello, everybody. I'm Karen Buchanan, and I endorse this message. And this candidate candidate because Shawn Dunning is the absolute best possible candidate for Richmond City Council District 6! I first met Shawn in 2018, June 2018, at Anna Vive's table. It was a campaign kickoff event, not unlike this one, for David Schoenthal running for City Council. And something about him was just, I don't know, he's got this amazing presence, this ability to just communicate with anybody from all walks of life and bring everybody to the table. And when he ran 4 years later, when he ran for mayor of Richmond, when he first announced his candidacy, I was like, I'm in with Dunning, because I wanted to get him in that mayor's seat in City Hall. Boy, did we need him. And so I was his unofficial campaign manager for like 3 months. And I organized about 2 or 3 campaign house parties and got the vote out. I even went running with Dunning. Yes, I put on my running shoes. We did some laps. We did about 2 or 3 miles through Point Richmond Hills, chugging up those hills. And I think getting out to vote is the most important thing we can do to save our democracy. Yeah. We really need to vote. And this year, 2024, is the most important election of your lives. So please, get out to vote. Vote for Mr. Shawn Dunning for City Council, and we'll all be in a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Now it's my turn. So before Shawn comes up to give some words and do a Q&A, I just want to say some words. So I met Shawn, like many of you, when he was running for mayor. I appreciated his vision and his fresh perspective. Then I got to know him personally, and I considered him a very good friend. He is principled, fair, loyal, empathetic, hardworking, super smart, focused on serving, and most importantly, a great father. I'm sure many of you put your vision for Richmond up here. This is a true example of him wanting to be a representative of the people and to find solutions through collaborative problem solving. Shawn truly cares about Richmond's vitality, strength, economic health, and diversity. He is truly proud to call Richmond his home and to raise his daughters here. It is my honor to introduce my friend and the next member to the Richmond City Council, Shawn Dunning.
I'm already crying, and I haven't said a word. But I don't need to have a funeral now. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for all these words of encouragement. By the way, I actually have a written speech, which is not my style, but I figured I needed that. I will warn you, it's long for a short speech, but it's short for a long speech, so I think we'll get through it. But thank you so much for those words of encouragement. Wow. Thank you for taking the time, everyone, out of your weekend to be here. Just the fact that you're here without saying anything means everything. I'm so grateful for all the volunteers that made this happen. Could not be done without them. You heard Ruthie mention them all. A special thanks to Ruthie and Jacob for their leadership. Another big round of applause. And special thanks to my daughters. Yeah. Not just for putting up with me, but for their, putting up with me doing this, but just for their vibrant participation and support. And a big thanks to Cheryl, my rock in the peace. My rock of peace in the river of chaos. All right, today I'd like to cover 3 topics. Number 1, why I'm here. Number 2, how I got here. And number 3, where we're going to go together. So number one, the reason I'm here today is the same reason you're here today. We all care about Richmond. All of us. And we all want leaders who listen and solve the problems that we face in our city. Turns out, we're not alone. Well, over 100 people here right now, but we are not alone, folks. When I ran for mayor, you've heard about it, when I ran for mayor a couple of years ago, I literally ran the streets of Richmond, every street. I covered over 500 miles. Catherine put the numbers right up there. If you drove down Barrett Avenue, you saw these numbers change every couple of days. Catherine, raise your hand. That was all her initiative. And in that 500 miles of running around Richmond, I met 5,000 people face to face. You heard from a couple of them today. And when I explained that my core purpose was to solve problems by getting everyone to the table without anyone owning the table, I was met with a resounding chorus of support. It turns out that's what people want. We want to be heard. We want our voices to matter. We want leaders who listen. And we want leaders who represent those who are entrusted to serve. I might not have made that cut 2 years ago, despite earning nearly 8,000 votes along the way. But as my mother explained, I don't give up. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way, but it only gets better from there. Which brings me to number two, how I got here. Bear with me. Let's rewind to December 25th, 1977. Just 2 weeks before my second birthday. I received a pair of winter boots. The timing was perfect as we were in the midst of a white Christmas that day in the Sierra Nevada foothills near Lake Tahoe. I was actually born in San Francisco, by the way, fourth generation. Yeah. But moved away for a while, and now I'm back. In any case, without hesitation, I ran to my room to get changed, and soon appeared before my family, proclaiming, "I'm going to climb Snow Mountain." And out I marched into the frigid winter storm. Surprisingly, nobody followed, but they must have known something I didn't. Sure enough, within seconds, I returned to the living room, appearing quite cold and quite confused as to why my new winter boots did not keep me warm. Apparently, as the story goes, that's all I was wearing. Clearly, I have a lot to learn about proper preparation for outdoor adventure. But I'm happy to say that 46 years later, today's my 48th birthday. My carpe diem spirit and optimistic desire to explore has not wavered. And I've actually climbed a few mountains, including a winter ascent of Mount Whitney, and just a few months ago I did a technical ascent of Half Dome. I like to do hard things. Though the mountains that I aspire to climb these days are more of a metaphorical nature. They're connected to my deep sense of purpose, which is based on helping people get along more effectively and ultimately working toward a world that works for everyone. Dare I say, that's what I stand for. And I've been truly blessed in a career of over 20 years of actually getting to do that. As an undergrad, I studied communication and psychology and became formally trained in conflict mediation. Shortly after college, I spent a year traveling the world, and during that time I started imagining how the principles of mediation might be applied to international conflict. And I soon found myself on the way to graduate school, working toward a master's degree in conflict analysis and resolution. For my master's thesis, I developed a model for adventure-based conflict resolution. For sure I was the first to think about that there. It turns out activities like rock climbing and whitewater kayaking teach us that we're often capable of more than we can possibly imagine. Well, resolving conflict is also about overcoming seemingly impossible obstacles. For example, imagine what might come from taking Israelis and Palestinians on a wilderness expedition. That was back in 2004, and a few years later I was living in Berkeley and the phone rang. And it was an NGO in Washington, D.C. They said they wanted to do a project involving trying to bring together some really key Israeli-Palestinian emerging leaders. And somehow my name came up. So to make a long story short, in 2009 I helped design and lead the first ever Palestinian-Israeli Emerging Leaders Expedition, which kicked off with a 10-day whitewater canoeing expedition on the Rio Grande in Texas. 7 more years of programs followed, including expeditions in Spain, Croatia, Cyprus, and Turkey. I'll tell you more of those stories another time. Though I will say that that chapter of my life culminated with my wife and I moving to Jerusalem, where our first daughter, Sophia, was born, before moving back to the Bay in 2014. Which makes Naomi here 5th generation Bay Area. By the way, if you're wondering about the seeming futility of that work, given the tragic news coming out of Gaza and Israel these days, I want you to know that I'm still in touch with dozens of the leaders that I worked with. And they're still on the path to peace. Despite the choices of others. I know in my heart it's going to take a while, but we'll get there. I've witnessed firsthand, time and time again, that hate can be transformed into love, if given the chance. You can clap for that. Let me get it. So there you have it. A window into a little bit about who I am and what motivates me. Oh, and in case you're wondering about how much I've learned since I was 2, my work has actually taken me to Antarctica, a little colder, where I've prepared the South Pole Winter Rover crew for living in isolation for 9 months without killing each other. When I went there, it was relatively warm, only 40 degrees below 0. But I assure you, I wore some really good parka along with those winter boots. All right, now back to Richmond, number 3, where we're going to go together. Richmond, California, a conglomeration of 115,000 people from all walks of life. And given all the different communities, one of the only things that we actually have in common from one end of our city to another, 52 square miles if you count the water, is that we all have a common government that we need to rely on to take care of pretty basic but critical needs. So what does Point Richmond have to do with El Sobrante, City Hall? What does the Annex have to do with North Richmond, City Hall? What does North and East have in common with Hilltop, City Hall? What else do we all have in common? We all want to live in safe neighborhoods. We all want to breathe clean air and drink clean water and enjoy the outdoors. We all want to thrive and be treated with basic fairness, respect, and dignity. So when it comes to my vision for serving Richmond, it's toward a future that is safe, clean, and fair. It's what you want, it's what we all want, it's what we all need. I want to briefly go through some of those points. Safety for all. Starts with a place where everyone is welcome all the time. Where essential human needs are met, including basic housing. Where everyone can rely on help, from mental health support to police protection. Where the traffic is relatively calm and enforcement of basic laws is a normal thing. Where we have justice truly for all. Where we have a vibrant social life and neighborhood gatherings inclusive of diverse communities. Clean for all. We all want an environment that welcomes residents and visitors. We want clean air, clean water. We want well-kept parks and open spaces, well-maintained streets and sidewalks, roads and sidewalks without garbage and litter. Pretty basic stuff. We want fairness for all. City leaders who listen, respond to, and represent the people. Policymakers who are guided by transparency, accountability, and equity. Residents who see results for the taxes they pay. Is that too much to ask? We want a place where renters and mom and pop housing providers are afforded reasonable protection alike. We want a community where businesses are welcomed and supported with reasonable incentives and fair tax policy. We want to make sure that those who work in Richmond are able to afford to live in Richmond.
That's right.
And we want, go ahead. Ultimately, we want a Richmond government that operates with integrity at all times.
Right.
It's a long list. It could go longer. And for more details on specific topics, I'm not going to go into every single topic in Richmond right now, but check out the website. It just launched today. Yeah. You'll see more commentary, positions, perspectives ranging from housing policy and homelessness to youth activities and crime and safety, neighborhood engagement and fiscal responsibility. Whole list of things on there. I'm not holding back. I got criticized in the past for listening too much, if you can imagine that. So now on day one, you want to know my platform? It's on the website. Go check it out.
What is that website?
DunningforRichmond.com. It's on all of your little stickers and name tags and buttons and all that stuff. But let's be clear, we can't make progress without honing in on a few priorities. We can't do it all. So what are my priorities? Top 3. Economic vitality, housing, and public safety. Without economic vitality, and if that's too fancy, economic development, we can't pay for all the things that we desperately need. Without sufficient housing, we can't take care of basic human needs. And without public safety, we can't grow and develop as a thriving community. It's going to take a lot of work, and I'm under no illusion that it will be easy or that I can do it alone. But I promise you 3 things, no matter what. Number 1, I will always listen to all sides. I will always work toward win-win solutions, especially when you don't think they're possible. And my decisions, listen very carefully, my decisions will always represent the people of Richmond. I promise you that, but I still need your help. I'm asking you to help me bring collaborative problem solving and collaborative leadership to Richmond, where there's always a seat at the table and where that door is always open. I'm asking you to help me bring common sense problem solving to Richmond, where we take care of what's in front of us before trying to change the world. And believe me, I want to change the world, but we got to start here. And I'm asking you to help me bring representative leadership to Richmond, because this is your Richmond, and it's your voice that matters.
Yep.
I'm running for Richmond City Council, and I need your help. The good news is I'm not alone, and neither are you. Just take a look around the room. This is just the beginning. You know, when I announced my candidacy for mayor on January 4th, 2022, I was completely alone. There was no kickoff party, no t-shirts, no balloons, no buttons, just my ambition to bring collaborative leadership into Richmond politics. I gave it my best shot, but I'm not done. I don't give up. And this time will be different. Before, I needed to reach nearly 30,000 people across 30 square miles. This time we're talking about around 6,000 voters over 1.7 square miles. But I said different, not easier. I believe that in order to beat the status quo political machine that currently runs Richmond, it's about as mean as I'll get, but that's true. I need to personally meet 6,000 active voters in District 6. That's not easy, but that's what I'm going to have to do. I need your money, I need your support, but $1 billion can't make me meet 6. Well, maybe it could. Wait. No, okay. what I need from you. Number one, I need you, each and every one of you, to reach out to anyone and everyone you know in District 6 and encourage them to host a house party meet and greet. It does not require that that be fan club. The more against they think they are of me, the better. House parties, meet and greets, every day. I'll come anytime I'm available, day or night. Sophia, Naomi, you up for that? Number 2, sign up to volunteer. You can help me canvass the neighborhoods. I need to meet every person myself, but your support goes a long way being there with me. And number 3, endorse and donate. Add your name to the list of endorsements. The list that we got around here, that's literally just created in the last few days to people who immediately answered the call, but I know it'll get a lot bigger. Add your name, and every penny helps. I know a lot of you donated on the way in. I'm so grateful for that. Every penny helps. This is not going to be easy. So that's about it. I just have actually 2 questions for you in closing. Whose Richmond is this? Ours. Whose Richmond is this? Ours. Whose voice matters?
Ours. Yours.
I have to say something here. My name tag says, "Your Richmond, your voice." What does your name tag say?
Your Richmond, your voice.
Oh, look at that window. What does it say? Yeah. If you're going to use the word ours, you need to make sure it includes everybody, not just the people you agree with. That might be a tough sell, but that's where we got to go with this. Amen. That's it, folks. I think we got through it. I'd be happy to take, how much time do we have? Just a few minutes, very quickly, to do a little Q&A if you have any burning questions, or there's some topic that you just have to hear me say something about.
Should we sing happy birthday?
There's a 10-year-old in the room who'd be very disappointed.
Aren't we going to play the string game?
Oh, the game, you know what, we'll do another event, or we'll play games for Simon. Maybe Simon says. Yes, Bobby.
Sean,
Use the microphone.
oh, I don't need one.
We can't hear you.
Okay.
Being recorded.
Oh, okay. If you could identify one group of people that we really need to get involved, that are the toughest to get to, who would that be, and how do we get to them, and how can we help them?
Let me answer it this way, Bobby. Last year, 5,000 people voted in District 6. There are 19,000 people who live in District 6. I actually want to represent them all, whether they voted for me or not, whether they vote or not. But the fact of the matter is we need to get more people involved in voting, but not just voting. We need them to know what they're voting for. I'm firmly convinced that the 8,000 votes I got 2 years ago was based on my getting out and meeting people, and people actually finding out who I was. So the challenge here is not a specific group of people, it's everybody. Anybody who takes out that ballot in October, November, puts it on their kitchen table and says, okay, how are we going to fill this out? I don't know any of these people. Oh, what's this mailer say? It's with the party that I trust. I better just do what they tell me. Well, I'm not playing party politics, folks. So if you're just going to do what the party tells you, and look at the platform. I'm not opposed to the platform of the party. I'm just saying, if people aren't informed on who they're actually voting for, we're going to keep getting the same thing. That's why I have to meet everyone. So the group, frankly, is everyone.
Okay.
But if you want to be really strategic, anyone you find that's saying things against me, introduce them to me. I'd love to meet them. Gary. Oh, real quick, District 6 is everything north of McDonald Ave and east of 23rd, kind of up to the Arlington.
So that's one of the questions I have. How many people here are from District 6? A lot of us aren't, including me. Yeah. One of the things we also want to know is how are we going to do to help you because I'm District 6?
I'm glad you asked that question. So a lot of folks will reply to an email and they'll say, oh, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't vote for you. Well, that's just a tiny bit of the puzzle here. So it doesn't matter whether you live in District 6, it doesn't even matter if you live in Richmond. You'll notice that the leader of my campaign, her title is Regional Ambassador. She doesn't like the fact that I call myself the campaign manager. Ruthie is a regional ambassador, and that's because this is not just about District 6. It's actually not just about Richmond. It's about multiple diverse stakeholders working together to solve our local problems. So whether you live in District 6 or not is somewhat irrelevant to this campaign unless you're actually the one casting the vote. But if you care about what I'm talking about, get involved and get those folks in District 6 to vote. So everybody can play a part in that. Richard, I just want to call out Richard right here. Richard runs the program from Vallejo. We met, what, 2 years ago, Soulful Softball Sunday, which is run by Rodney Alamo Brown, by the way. He's going to try to make it. He's endorsed me. And Richard runs a program for formerly incarcerated women, helping them get them back on their feet. Do you think that stops at a border? She's from Vallejo, and she's here today. So borders don't matter in terms of what this message is about. Anything else, real quick?
Anyone else?
Okay. Yeah.
Microphone. Wait for the microphone.
Yeah, Don, go get trouble, Don.
Sorry.
I wanted to ask whether the resolution by the Richmond City Council about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict that was somewhat controversial, what your feeling is about that? Because some of us were, let's just say, had opinions. Thank you.
Yeah, well, let me just say briefly, when it came out that there was this resolution coming forth that the Richmond City Council was going to put out a statement officially on behalf of the city about Gaza and Israel, my first reaction was, what the heck are they doing? Okay, look at the charter. What is the purpose of our city council? It's to take care of our city. It's to have safe, clean, fair environment for us all to be in. Yeah, go ahead. I don't think we should be in the business of opining on whatever, anywhere. Okay? Once we passed the point of no return and it was going to happen, and it's going to be voted on, then I think we had a second opportunity. First opportunity should be leave it alone. It's not the place for our city council. But if we are, and if I was on city council, I'll tell you exactly how I would react to that. Because things get on the agenda in different ways, and as one council member, you can't keep it off. So if I've been there a couple months ago when this came up, I'll tell you exactly what I would have done. I would have tried as hard as I possibly could to get people together from across the community, from across the city, to work on a joint statement. The fact that the resolution was written by, I don't know, a member of our council or staff, I don't even know who wrote it, but the fact that it came from simply a person or even just the 7 people, apparently without any consultation of any single resident in Richmond, pissed me off. You will never, ever see me making decisions like that. In fact, one idea I have, I'm going to be rolling this out. If you're on my list, you'll be hearing about it. I'm going to form an email list. I'll call it the Council Advisory Group. And if you want to be, because not everybody wants to get an email all the time, but I'm going to do everything I can before every decision I make to hear from other people. And so what I would have done, you would have heard me saying, what do you think? What are your perspectives? And finally, I'll say this. And I was at that council meeting that went for like 7 hours until 1:30 in the morning. The irony of it, by the way, sorry, I got to say another word here. The irony was that the opening forum of that council meeting was full of about 30 minutes of firefighters from Richmond saying, help, we need more support. We're working like weeks of overtime. We need help. Our fire department asking our city council for help. Not even acknowledged. And then we spent 7 hours talking about Gosney. There's something wrong with that. I talked a little bit about my experience working with Israelis and Palestinians. I lived there, for crying out loud. I have deep connections with these people. And what I said during my 1 minute at the microphone that night was, you know what? Let's get all these people in the room who are saying, my side, no, my side, you're wrong, no, let's get them all together. and work on a joint statement. And actually, I know that that's possible because that's the kind of work I do. And I actually worked with Israelis and Palestinians who were much more divided than the group in that room that night. And I guarantee you, it would have been possible to come up with a joint statement that represented a diverse group of stakeholders from across Richmond and was representative of our city, so that when the city council passes a resolution and they say, "We Richmond," are actually referring to "We Richmond." So, a little long-winded, but I can talk that long about anything, by the way. But we're out of time. I'm going to hand the mic back to Ruthie. So again, thank you so much. I'll stick around. If anyone wants to drop by, have a drink with me for my birthday, I'm going to be at the factory bar after 8 o'clock tonight. Not big enough for all of us, so you'll have to take turns. Okay, Ruthie.
We're almost done, you couple minutes. Okay, we have one very special last speaker that I almost forgot about. Miss Sophia Dunning.
Hey everyone. I just want to say thank you for coming and supporting my dad. I think we can all agree that he's a great person and an amazing leader. I also wish him a very happy birthday and a start to the campaign. He is an amazing dad and role model for me and my sister to learn from and grow with. And I think we can all thank him for helping make the world a better place. Richmond is an amazing place to live. And with his help, I think we can make it even better. Yes. That's why I am supporting my dad and wishing that he will win. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. So with that, it's time for birthday cake. This is my sister Naomi, and she will let us all in a happy birthday.
Sophia for mayor.
It's the first time ever speaking on a microphone.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shawn. Happy birthday to you.
What are you going to wish for?
Sophia said she wanted to do a speech. When did you tell me? Like yesterday? She didn't? I had no idea what she was going to say. It's her first time ever speaking in front of a group. I think we need to start her campaign now.
Oh, yeah!
All right, that's it.
Oh, almost it. Almost it. There's cake back there. We also we're hoping to get a group photo. The dogs can take it from here, and everyone can